Well, good evening. The Who's today were on at Hawkesbury. The track was good. The rail was in the normal position. There was no bias on the track. You could lead on the fence and win, or you could run on from behind with pace and also win. The wind situation today, it was for races 1, 2 and 3, the wind was a steady nor'wester, but then all of a sudden it swung around for races 4, 5 and 6 to be a very strong sou'wester, which helped the times, especially in race, it would have been in race 6 in the 1,000 metre race, where they ran 55.55 and came home in 32.52. And then the last race, the wind has swung around again back to the original position, original direction and strength. Not very strong for the last race, out of the northwest again. Now the first race, look, the meeting here today, it was a disgraceful meeting. It was literally a ghost town. There was nobody there. Just the handful, a dozen regulars, and the game is in dire straits on course. And to boot, I've got to go back to bookie school to learn to count, because the figures here today, playing to an empty house, were disgraceful. For instance, the first race, well, on the screen there was only 98.9, and in the marketplace we gave 96%. These were the flux in the first race. Number 1, Roots, priceless, didn't have a name, fly blown, gone to Gowings, $2.80 out to $4.60. Columbia, $3 out to $3.50 back into $3.20. Emphatic, who I laid some good bets against, $4 out to $5 back into $4.60 back to $5. The winner, also very well backed, $17 to $26 back into $18. The winner, only money, field of 5 and the rank outsider. And then we had Frankenbeans resuming, $3.50 to $4.40 back into $3.80, laying 6,000 to 4,500 to 1,500 at one stage, plus a couple of other good bets. And it was able to sit outside the lead, only money the roughie. Woods led on the fence after missing the kick slightly. It blundered near the 700, but didn't have any effect. And they went across the line, 3 runners, and the outside of the field stuck its nose out and gave this little girl her first win, Mrs. C. Nutman. Now, of course, we did see Emphatic in this race from barrier 3, being trapped 3 wide all the way, ridden by Jenny Duggan, and undoubtedly it ran second, only beaten 0.2, and undoubtedly if it would have been able to slot in somewhere, it certainly would have got the cash. Now race 2, there was 102 on the screen, but only a neat 100 in the marketplace, and this was won by the favourite. The Avery got the cash. Maglequin from Melbourne, trained by Moody, ridden by jovial Josh Parr. We put it up safely at $3, but reached for it out to $3.50, but it was poleaxed by the pros. They killed you for the 350, 40, 30, 20, 10, $3, and it started $2.80, and it sat in behind the pace, getting a cosy run in about 5th hole. He eased around the heels, turning for home, and was able to set up a big enough break to hold on and just last from Seize the Fire, number 8, who came from last down the outside, as I say, to just fail by 0.2 of a length. And it was friendless in the betting. It would have been a huge result for the captains. It went from $6.50 out to $11. And unfortunately for number 7 in this race, the opening second favourite, Open Sights, who didn't have a price, it got trapped 3 wide after missing the kick. Ridden by Nathan Berry. He tried to slot in, but he couldn't, and he went forward and got trapped 3 wide. He finished up 3 wide outside the leaders, and I suppose he held on all right considering the run he had. But you could sense the run was going to be no good, because the fluctuations before they jumped were $3.50 to $7 about open nights, open sights, I should say. that tells the story, doesn't it? 5 to 2 to 6s. Yes, it got trapped 3 wide, unfortunately, in the run, and it ran a fairly good race. There was a little bit of money around for number 1 Escarpment, opened up 7 into $6, back out to 7, and there was a bit of money when it got to $4.80. Leaders Saga opened up $4, got to $4.80, back into $4.20. Was no good. There was only 100% on the at top odds, with plenty of runners on label, and the Avery firming in the race and getting the cash. A strip out for the captains. Race 3, we saw 10 less that was on the screen. They had a nightcap here, the boys. There was 108 on the 108.4 on the screen, but there was only 98% in the marketplace. And this race was won by Footy Fan, who gave the captains a big result, because Footy Fan didn't have many fans at the Who's today. Not that there were many fans there, but the pros didn't know it was in the race, obviously. It went from $6 out to $12. Footy Fan, it was $12 on my board when they jumped, and I couldn't strike. There wasn't a fan for it anywhere. And had Barrier 1, was taken straight to the lead by A. Allen, the 1.5 kilo boy who rode a winner later on, and it was able to lead all the way and beat Patamata, who came off its back from the fence, having its chance. It was held up slightly. It was backed at one stage. It went from $4.60 out to $7.50. Well, I saw $8 back into $6.50 towards the end of betting. Starting favourite in the race was Zycosis, having every possible chance. It's at third. It's no good. It's a very ordinary conveyance, Zycosis. It opened up $2.30. We reached for it out to $3.50. Did only start $2.80. Was very layable at $3 and even at $2.90. The runner that was very hard to lay in the race that was in the market was the opening equal favourite, talking about Night Light, number 9, ridden by Jay Collette. It knuckled on jumping, and he said it didn't travel at any stage of the race, and it went from $3 out to $4.20. There was another runner in the market that was back. It was up the top, a runner coming from Melbourne, Just L, $5.50. Well, it went up straight up $6.50 taken, $5.50 out to $6.50, back into $5 at one stage, back out to $5.50. As I say, well, the figures were hopeless, but if you did work on it, the winner, Footy Fan, didn't have a price. Now, race 4, well, there was 104.5 on the screen and 101 only in the marketplace, but there were runners in this race that didn't have a price, and one of those was the second horse, who would have been an absolute skinner for the captains, talking about Austin's Cane. It ran second, it sat second, it couldn't get past, well, it got past the leader, but it, unfortunately, a very well-backed runner came down the outside and knocked it off. Austin's Cane's fluctuations were $17 to $61 on my board when they jumped, and I didn't find anybody to have won Oxford on it. So as I say, it would have been a big result. The runners that were backed in this race, Dan Road, number 1, it went up 5 to 2, $3.50. Bookies quickly reached for it out to $5.50. It was into $4 at one stage, very layable. I laid it at $4.40. I did start $4.60 on my board. Then we got to number 5, Pay TV, $26 was taken. Started only 19. The next runner, Tableau, was back right towards the finish of betting. We won't know, we'll never know, but I wonder whether it would have won if it would have got out of the pocket when they turned for home. It opened up 5 to 4, $2.25, got out to $3.50, but it was poleaxed right towards the finish by the pros. They took as little as $3 for whatever you wanted. It started $2.90, hard to get Tableau, and well, I finished with the betting. The next runner was the winner, Wahlberg, having his first start for the O'Shea camp, and it opened up $4, got out to $4.60, was into $3.50 at one stage, 5 to 2, but it got back out to start $4.40. I did lay it very well at $4 and very well at $3.80. But as I say, it started longer than that, and it started at 4.60. The next runner was also backed at Solaro. Well, the next runner was $41, not a penny for it. But then we got to number 10, the only other runner in the market. It opened up $4.40 Solaro, got to $5.50, back into $4.40, but then got back to $5.50 late in betting, and it finished up running fourth. Now, the way the race was run, Danro, it missed the kick, but then ridden by Rodney, perfectly balanced Quinn, it went through the field and found the lead and set up a good break once it did by about 3 or 4 lengths. And looking at it, chasing it, and on its inside were Austin's Cane, and on its inside Tableau. When they turned for home, they'd caught Danro, and when he tried to get out of the pocket, Jovial Josh Parr, Killer Cat, she said, "No, you're not getting out of there," and she put him back in the zip fastener, and he more or less went to the line untested. So if he would have got out, there's a chance he might have won. But coming down the outside, having an uninterrupted run from about the 600-metre mark down the outside, as I say, was the winner Warburg, to grab the 60-to-1 chance on the line to beat it by 0.8 of a length. And Danro, who set up the good pace up front, it held on and ran third, only 1 length away. Race 5, there was this is a ripper here. I've got to go back to bookie school for me next week. 94.3 on the screen, 87 in the marketplace, 87. These were the fluctuations in a field of 7. Have a listen to this. Lady Gazira, the winner, $4 out to $5. 4 to 1, 4 to 1, Lady Gazira. Yes, how much do you want? For $5, $4.80, $4.60, $4.40, $4.20, $4, $3.80, $3.70, $60, $50. Oh, all right. Well, we'll take your $3.40 and $3.30 for whatever you want. Started $3.20. Got the cash. The next runner, Lady Cruel de Ville, resuming from a spell, similar to the winner. $6.50 out to $7 into $5.50. Gunner's Babe, $2.50 out to $4.20. Had to come in towards the finish. 87, mind you, we only gave. The pros took the 4.20 at the finish. Well, they already had the large plate of the winner into about 3.80. Then we had the next runner, Karjan. Of course, it was $15 into $6.50. Very well back. They had 3 large plates of it, the pros. Now, this is where it was no good, and it ran second. Would have been a huge result for the captains. I'm talking about Campania, the maiden winner from Wyong last start. We put it up 9 to 4, $3.20 second pick. It was 3.20 to 5.50. Unlayable Campania. Lady Freya was 51 to 61, and Silver Czar was 21 out to 31, back to 26. Did lay 6,200 about Silver Czar, and it was always back in the field. But as I say, the one that was the big plonk in the race was the winner, Lady Gaziro. It went straight to the lead, Gunner's Babe. It's not very strong, Gunner's Babe. Sitting on its outside was the winner. Went straight past it, turning for home. Coming off its back was the bookie's hope, and that was Campania, but couldn't run it down, and it beat it by 1.3 lengths. Then we got to race 6, and well, there was 109.6 on the screen and 104 only in the marketplace, but there were 2 runners in this race that didn't have a price, and there was a field of 5. The second favourite won the race. Field of 5, Colonel Light. It was $5 out to $9. Blakey Boy was $5 out to $7. The winner, Shizu, $3.50 to $4.80, back into $4.40, $4.60 late. The winner, Straturbo, $1.65 out to $1.80 given, back into $1.70, and excuse me, fluctuations 31 to 41, back into $31. About 4% there, but numbers 1 and 2, they didn't have a price, and we're looking at about 25% of the market which didn't exist, and the winner and the favourite were the only two runners backed, and they ran the Quinella. Well, we know how the race was run. There was plenty of pace up in front, set by Colonel Light on the holding the fence. Not able to cross it was Straturbo, and sitting out 3 wide on a limb was Blakey Boy. And then looking at the three of them was the winner, ridden by very competent Christian Reef, and then a long margin to the 50 to 1 chance, 40 to 1 chance fluctuations, and he got in between runners after straightening for Christian Reef, and he was able to beat the favourite by 1 length. We came to the last. Oh, we had to go home on this note. On the screen, 99.6 on the screen. In the marketplace, only 95%. And going up $4 equal favourites were the winner, Don't Put It There, and the number 7 Lightens, going up $4 equal favourite. Both of them were reached for, and both got to $5.50, with Lightens starting that price $5.50, $4 out to $5.50, didn't have a price. The winner was $4 to $5.50 into $4.80. They took the $5.50 and the $5, but back out to $5 towards the end of betting. There was a big firmer in the race. I'll get to that one in a minute. Little bits of money around for Lee High, $8.50 taken at one stage into $6.50, but got back out to $8 towards the finish. There was a bit of money for Sahara Symphony, the second horse, $14 taken into about $12. The big plonk in the race was Zippy Zariz. Didn't show much zip today, the old Zippy Zariz. It was $14 into $6.50, extremely well backed. It settled back well in the field, and it passed only a couple of runners. Orsini didn't have a price, $9 to $17, although I did lay a couple of thousand against it right towards the end of betting. And Zemerit, there was as much as $8.50 given on the fence about Zemerit. You wouldn't see that in the flux, but there was plenty of $6.50. It only started $6, and the bottom one was 100 to 1. We gave around about 95%. The way the race was run, Don't Put It There went straight to the lead, and similar to De Niro, well, it wasn't ridden by Rodney Quinn. This runner was ridden by the boy getting him a double A, Allen. It set up a nice break coming down the side, leading by about 3 or 4 lengths, and they got to him turning for home, or not far behind him, but it showed plenty of fight all the way down the straight, changing stride at one stage, and the boy's boot brushing the running rail, and it lost its momentum for a stride, but it was still able to hang on and win by 0.4 of a length from Sahara Symphony, who was in about second or third position all the way, and coming off its back was Orsini, only a half a length, and coming from 4th last in the race was Lee High down the outside, and it was only 0.9 of a length away, running 4th. All the others all had their chance, including Lightens, who, as I say, was settled down in last position and only plugged to the line down the outside, was beaten about 8.1 lengths. That was the meeting. It was a very, very poor meeting, and what do I say? It was a hard, tough school, and the game is getting pretty hard to survive in these days. That's about all I'd say. Hope you have a good, if you're punting tomorrow, there'll be 1,000 meetings on for you tomorrow to have a bet on, but it's Cox Plate Day on Saturday, and if you're going to Rose Hill, we'll see you there. Good evening.